Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Elizabeth. It's good to have you. Today I'm going to be doing a stitch out. So I'm going to be doing this stitch out on my Janome 550 embroidery machine. I have a video up on my channel already of how I digitize this applique. If you would like to see that, I would link it at the top here. I used Embroidery to do my digitizing. So if you would like to see how I do that, stay tuned. So these are some of the things that I'm going to be using to do this applique. So I've got a piece of fabric here, and on the back I've got some heat and bond light. So I've ironed that onto the back. So I'm using this heat and bond light, and you just iron it on the back of your fabric for like 2 seconds and it sticks on. Okay, and this just stops the fabric from fraying and make sure that it lays nice and flat on your garment. I am also using cutaway stabilizer, because the saying is if you wear it, don't tear it. So I'm going to be using this cutaway stabilizer. I've got my hoop here. So my embroidery machine is the Janome 550, and this hoop is the 200 by 140 millimeter. That is what I digitized my slogan on. So I'm just going to put my stabilizer in. I'm checking that it is drum tight. Okay. So that is in. I'm going to be embroidering on this Gildan soft style v-neck t-shirt. So I'm going to be floating my t-shirt. So this is how I do it. I'm going to place my hoop inside. I might just pull the camera back a bit so you can see. Okay, hopefully that is a much better angle for you. Right, so this is going to be the tricky bit, is actually getting everything centered. So you've got some notches on your hoop. You've got one at the top, one at the bottom, and you've got on the left and the right as well. So to make this a lot easier, earlier I folded the t-shirt and then I ironed to get a middle impression here. So that is what I am using to line up the notches at the top and at the bottom. And because it's a V-neck, I'm putting the V part, the end of my V part, right at the top so that it's centered nicely. I'm then going to attach my t-shirt to the stabilizer using pins. Okay, so I have my t-shirt pinned into my stabilizer. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to roll the t-shirt going to roll it up, and then I'm going to place these clips just to keep the t-shirt out of the way of the machine. Okay, so here it is. So I've clipped back the rest of the t-shirt so it's out of the way from the back of the hoop. So let's take it to the machine. So I'm just going to call up the design. So I'm going to go into my folder here. I've already got my USB attached to my machine, so I'm going to click the USB icon here, EMBF, and then I'm going to scroll through to look for my design, and that's it here, and I press OK, and the carriage is just going to move into place. Okay, so I'm just going to attach my hoop. Okay, so my first stitch is going to be the placement stitch. So I'm using some contrasting fabric so that I can see. I'm going to be using the same contrast fabric for the placement and the tack down so that I can see, and it's easier for me to cut round the fabric. Okay, so my placement stitch is now done. So I'm going to get my fabric and I'm going to remove the backing off this heat and bond. Like that, and you'll see, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, it's quite shiny. So I'm going to place that side down on my fabric, on my t-shirt. Okay, so my fabric is now down, and I'm now going to do the tack down stitch. I always have a pencil to, just in case I need to hold anything down. Do not stick your fingers in there, you don't want to get it stitched. So I always use a pencil. And there's always the stop button if you make a mistake. So let's do the tack down. So that is the tack down stitch done. So I now need to remove the hoop so that I can cut around my font. So you might not be able to see that properly, but I need to cut around all those letters. Okay, so I have to carefully cut around. The camera's not picking it up, but I can see it quite well. So I'm going to cut around all these words, or letters rather, which is going to take a while, but you just need to carefully zoom you in a little bit more. So you just need to carefully cut without cutting your t-shirt, and just cut around those letters. So I would say this is the part of an applique that is the most time consuming, because this is where you need to be really, really careful. Make sure you're not cutting your garment. Okay, make sure you're not cutting your garment and you're cutting as close to the stitch as possible. And these applique scissors are the perfect tool for the job, because it's curved and you can get as close to it as possible without trying to without cutting into your tack down stitch like that. So you want to cut as close to the stitch as possible. So I'm going to get this done because this is going to take a while, and I'm pretty sure you do not want to see me cutting round every single letter. So I'll be right back. So we are back at the machine, and I have cut around each letter, making sure I didn't cut into the stitches. It took quite a while because we had all these fiddly bits. Okay, and I used a lint roller just to get the fuzzy bits off. So I'm now going to place it back into the machine, and I've already done a color change of my thread. I will link how to thread your machine. I've got a video of how to thread your machine, which I will link in the description box. So now we are going to do the satin stitch and the rest of the slogan. So this is the final bit. Let's go. So that is the end of the project. So I'm just going to unhoop this and take you to the table. So here it is, we're back at the table. So I'm just going to remove all these clips now and all the pins and unhoop this. Okay, I'm really pleased with the way this has turned out. There's no puckering, and I think that is due to me floating the t-shirt rather than hooping it with the stabilizer. So I'm just going to now cut off the excess stabilizer on the back. So I'm going to take the bulk of this stabilizer off now. And I'm quite proud of the back of the applique and the embroidery, because my digitizing is getting better and I'm pleased. Well, it's quite straightforward actually, digitizing. So again, if you haven't seen the video of me digitizing this, it's linked in this video. Please have a look at it. Okay, so I've cut the bulk of the stabilizer off, and I'm just going to quickly trim off these bits of thread here. So I have here some fusible interfacing, which is a little bit like the tender touch that is used for children's clothing, but I want to put it on this. Even though this is an adult t-shirt, I just think it just gives it a nicer finish. So this has you won't be able to see it on camera, but there's a kind of a rough side, and then there's the smoother side, and this is the side that's going to go on the skin. So I'm just going to place this down and press that with the iron. And my iron has no steam, so I'm just going to press that down. And at the same time, this is fusing the heat and bond that I used on the fabric for the applique. Okay, that's on. Okay, and that is it. This is how I do an applique on a t-shirt, and it's turned out really lovely. I love it. I love the colors that I've used, and the fabric just gives it extra dimension. That's the thing I like about applique, is that it gives your embroidery a different dimension. So, if you found this video useful or interesting, please like and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. And hit that post notification bell so you know when I upload a new video. Please feel free to interact with the comment section by leaving any questions or any comments in the comment section below. And as always guys, don't have a good day, have an amazing day. Till next time, bye!